Right now, if I'm not gonna find something on the first page, let's say first few lines, I'm not reading further. So I would say 2 seconds for me, and I'm not reading further. Your CV will either interest me or not. Oh my goodness, I don't even read cover letters. I'm really sorry for everyone who's ever sent a CV to me with a cover letter. I do not read it.
Hi, Urszula, and welcome to my podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hi.
This time I jump straight into the discussion so I do not, spend my time or our time talking about whatever introduction. So, welcome. I am very glad you actually accepted my invitation.
Oh, I've been watching your podcast for some time, listening and watching on the LinkedIn, so I'm glad I'm here. Thank you for invite.
On LinkedIn, so it's a good feedback to me that actually LinkedIn works because to be honest, I don't feel that platform yet.
I think with LinkedIn, I'm from recruitment, from HR. So for us, LinkedIn is one of the basic platforms that we use. It's been overcrowded for some time right now, but it still works. And you cannot find me on Facebook or Instagram doing like much stuff, but I'm on a LinkedIn every day.
It actually makes sense now when we started with LinkedIn because when LinkedIn started 10, 15 years ago, it was perceived as a platform
Oh,
for searching for
more,
jobs, right? It's more
more.
even
I
okay.
think I think I was in a high school when I remember my one of my best friend boyfriend. He was already a web developer at the time. He said to us, "You need to get your account on a LinkedIn." So that was like, yeah, a long time ago.
Long time ago, and you stayed there on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and I've been there. I haven't been using it obviously from very beginning. I did not
Mhm.
understand the purpose of LinkedIn, but for last over 10 years, I've been active on a LinkedIn daily, daily.
Daily. Yeah, and just to give the listeners some context, you are actually a recruitment and HR consultant. You help businesses and candidates to get better jobs, right? And
True.
also you specialize in technology. Is that correct?
Mhm. Yeah, that's my favorite part, technology. However, it's actually surprising because when I thought I spent last decade on IT and technology, focus engineering, I like engineering as well. So when I thought my expertise area leans within IT only, I'm getting clients from different industries, and
Hmm.
you'll be sometimes surprised. On some point, majority of my clients were, and here is a very interesting, lawyers
Hmm.
and clinical trial specialists. And
Hmm.
I had almost no one from IT, and majority were lawyers and clinical trials. So everything like around science, they were coming to me, and it was very interesting because they were coming through recommendations.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was very interesting. That was very interesting. But yeah, I do love IT.
You love IT, and I can totally see your point when you say the clients are coming from different directions. I have my company, an agency in Poland, and
Mhm.
just a couple of months back, I haven't had a client from Poland. I had clients from Germany and from Austria,
See?
from Czech Republic and Slovakia, but not from Poland. It changed now, but before it was like really, funny for me that I haven't had Polish clients. But let's
I
go.
agree with you. For me, it's pretty much the same. That right now the Polish clients I have them,
Hmm.
but yeah, like my expertise now is basically Europe, Canada. I even had experience in China, which was
Hmm.
very, I would
Interesting.
say, refreshing how it works in China. Obviously, Scandinavian countries, uh,
Hmm.
part of Europe, very interesting. And yeah, Germany, what you said, I have clients from Germany too.
Hmm. And when you say clients, let's now redirect our discussion to your
Mhm.
background, right? You said that you are
Yes.
actually HR expert, or I said that you are HR expert and consultant. But what do you actually do? Like, do you like interview people, or right? What's your daily job?
Yes, so my daily job is actually divided into two parts. So first it's from a client side, and second
Hmm.
from the candidate side. So from the client side is strictly can be recruiting, can be sourcing, I had lately one Lithuanian company coming to me and asking me for the prediction of hiring in Poland because they were thinking
Hmm.
of opening their hub in Poland. So what the hiring looks like in Poland? What are the salaries? What is the law? Because that's another thing.
Hmm.
We think that if we are under European Union, the employment law is the same, but it's not.
Hmm.
It's totally different. Knows anyone who ever hired someone in Germany? That is super tricky market. Or Spain has new regulations as well. So they came and asked for that. So I am able to get into all insights of hiring for Poland, but not just for Poland,
Hmm.
basically for every country in EMEA region, plus some extras. It found it very interesting that every country has different regulations, different rules, and different immigration law as well,
Hmm.
which is changing. Not sure you have heard that actually Polish immigration law is changing soon as well. And it's going to be
No.
much more difficult for you I mean, not maybe for you because you're a European Union member,
Hmm.
but for people from different countries to enter Poland and get their
Hmm.
jobs here. So this is from one side. So
Okay.
I do
Hmm.
full recruitment. So it's this called end to end or 360. 360 is basically from the moment you gaining the client to you gathering the requirements, their
Hmm.
predictions for hiring, you running full sourcing, job posting, all the headhunting, interview
Hmm.
to onboarding, and as well collecting feedbacks from the onboarding.
Hmm.
As well can tell you what's the issue in a team, why people are leaving the company,
Hmm.
because many people do not understand, but actually the highest cost of for HR for us, the highest cost we're getting when actually first we're being sued, so that's one, and the second when someone is leaving, because
Hmm.
hiring is super
Hmm.
expensive, because it's not just people think it's just getting a new person, posting a job, interviewing. No, it's not just that. It's as well the time of another employee that employee
Hmm.
needs to dedicate first to write the job posting, right? They need to review it. If not even write it, they need to review it. Then we need to book their time in the calendars as well, reschedule it if needed.
Hmm.
Obviously, they need to review the CVs we're sending. They need to talk with us about those CVs, because sometimes we send 10 CVs and it's not what they want. So the question is why. So we do need to schedule those calls. Later on, when after the onboarding,
Hmm.
we need a training. So we actually calculate in a HR
Hmm.
person fully trained after 6 months. So for that 6 months, we're constantly adding money to that. So it's not just the salary
Hmm.
we're paying, not just the fee to agency we're paying. It's as well all this training process up to 6 months. So hiring new person is extremely expensive. And many companies do not remember about it. They rather let someone go
Hmm.
instead of giving them recognition,
Hmm.
salary raise, like, pat on the back saying, well done,
Yeah.
here is your bonus. Instead of that, we're letting very good employees go, and we don't know why.
Hmm.
And usually, it's
Hmm.
like a snowball effect. Once one person leaves, very often other people will leave as well, or some of them. So this is one side, which is the client side, right? So recognizing the problem of hiring or people leaving, even there will be
Hmm.
the toughest times, there will be no jobs available on the market, people will still leave the company. So there
Hmm.
isn't like 100 years ago that when person join one company will stay till retirement. Even our parents, right? Probably you've seen that when our parents join a company, they stayed usually till retirement in one company.
Yeah.
You agree
That's
with that?
correct. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
correct. That's. I thought always that it's only Central or Eastern European mindset, but I believe that it's same in maybe not
everywhere.
in everywhere. Okay.
I would say it's everyone. Once it's like different generations, completely different
Hmm.
mindset. That the employees, it was like your second family. Do you know right now what is an average changing of job timing per person? So if you're an
Uh,
employee, how
hmm.
often on average would you change a job?
Very good question. I would say 5 years.
Okay, not really.
Not really.
Less than that.
Okay.
Less than
Less
that.
than that. Okay,
Yes.
so 3 years then.
Yeah, the average is 3 years. However, IT has a different rules. What do you think will be in IT?
IT, let's say if you have project based 12 months.
Very close. 18. 18 you
18.
have.
Okay, so one and a
Yes.
half year. Okay.
So year 1.5, I agree with you. IT is very much project driven.
Mm-hmm.
But the average is 3 years. So compared to our parents when they spent 50 years, 40,
Mm-hmm.
50 years in one company, to us where we changing the job, sometimes I know people changing every project, which is sometimes 6 months. And it's normal.
Mm-hmm. You know,
Okay, so this is one side, right?
go on.
This is one side of my business. The other side of my consultancy expertise is the candidate side. And the
Mm-hmm.
candidate side, it actually came to me by coincidence. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if we can say coincidence, because when pandemic hit, I was working for American Express at the
Mm-hmm.
at that time, and I was made redundant. Like the whole basically team was made redundant during the pandemic, and I was actually getting questions for people to help them to prepare for interviews as I had the spare
Mm-hmm.
time, and I started doing that, and it was super satisfying because my favorite part was to negotiate the good salaries for them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Still love it. I think this is my favorite one. Reviewing CVs. Reviewing LinkedIn's as well. You said LinkedIn, you
Mm-hmm.
don't
Yeah.
really believe in the power of LinkedIn, but it's there. Some people put the LinkedIn on, they set up LinkedIn and then never use it. And then they are surprised why no one ever approached me on a LinkedIn. Recruiters still using LinkedIn quite a lot. And so I started from this side. I started running workshops for people to
Mm-hmm.
prepare them for interviews and doing lots of one-on-ones, doing lots of group teaching from like 1 to 100 people. I think that was the largest number of people that I've trained in a one go. So this is the
Mm-hmm.
other side, and I could not decide which one to choose. So I choose both. I love both of them, and I think it's really good to see the candidate side as well and the
Mm-hmm.
company side as well to know what's happening.
Definitely, definitely agree. I would like to go back a little bit, just to sum it up from my side. And when you said employee turnover is very expensive, I remember those days when I worked as a training manager for a corporation right here in EMEA market, that we actually worked relentlessly on
Mhm,
reducing the cost and turnover of the employees. So we implemented trainings, onboardings better,
mhm,
like personal development,
mhm,
coaching hours, and so on. And after a couple of years, we were successful. And today, I have a small startup which is AI driven, right? I'm not talking about it a lot because it's now underground. We are just building up the system. But the aim of that startup, the aim of the product, is actually reducing the employee turnover in the large corporations, because we
mhm.
believe that once you actually take care of them mentally and physically as well, and that's our goal, you will be able to save money at the end. And you confirm that one of the most expensive things is actually rehiring employees, right? So
Rehiring is super expensive. It's super
yeah.
expensive. Very good idea. I have even spoken yesterday with one of my clients. She just changed the job lately to one of the largest investment banking companies. I'm
Hmm.
not going to put your
Hmm.
names here,
Okay.
but everyone knows it. And she said that they've been asked to go back to office full time,
Hmm.
and for this connection, right? They're saying the purpose of it is to get people to reconnect. I'm not entirely sure that going back to office full time is
Hmm.
a good way of reconnecting. I think there are better ways, but people do feel disconnected. And I
Hmm.
have people leaving jobs because of this disconnection.
Hmm. Hmm.
So not the money.
So not the money. Okay. So but it's mostly, from what I hear currently, it's mostly in the United States, right? The companies are like calling back Amazon, I think, Facebook as well. Like those large corporations are bringing people back to the office. For
Mhm.
now, I think Elon Musk said in Tesla or it was
In X.
SpaceX when
Yeah, yeah.
that.
Tesla. I think it's there a couple of years now that he called back
Hmm.
everyone back to office.
Hmm.
And what do you think about it?
Hmm. To be honest, I actually like the way how I work today, right? When I need to meet clients, I do. When I need to meet a team member, I do it online. And, you know, for me, I like the hybrid way of working. I would
Mm-hmm.
say I would stay with it. I would not. I cannot imagine that I'm going to the office for 5 days in a week, working 8 to 10 hours, right, having coffee breaks and so on. Because I like to sometimes put my headphones on. I like to be in a quiet space, and I
Mm-hmm.
need to think sometimes alone. And I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that office is actually, when I'm thinking back about my office days, I'm not sure actually that I did a lot of work there. To be honest, sorry for everybody who is listening from my previous job. I am not sure really, because majority of the job happened in the field. I was responsible for training people in the stores, right? So it's something
Mm-hmm.
different than just being in the office and doing some reporting and manual work. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I remember my last office job, like 100% office job, when I had opportunity, I mean, not opportunity, when one of my kids were sick, I was taking, instead of taking time off, I worked from home those days. And you'll be surprised, but actually, I've done much more work with a sick child at home, working, because I was able to. I knew, like, let's say he had his nap time, right? Or he watched some cartoon, the bad parenting, watching cartoons. But every parent with a sick child knows, like, that's a cartoon time.
Paw
Um,
Patrol.
I know, right? So it was much easier for me to schedule calls in a quiet house.
Hmm.
And I did let people know. I said, listen, I have a child at home. If he's gonna wake up, unfortunately, I need to finish the call. They were all okay with it. I think once someone just gave me, I'm not saying headache, but
Hmm.
after the big call, like, it was like a little team's conversation where next time, just if you are at home with the children, just let me know. We're gonna schedule it.
Hmm.
And that was on the German market, and
Hmm.
they have a different approach to work.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Works council.
Yes, exactly. So, but they're fine as long as you let
Hmm.
them know. And actually, here we meant to discuss as well tips for for
Hmm.
the
We
for
will
the
definitely. Hmm.
candidates. And actually, what I wanted to say maybe here is, because when we talk about working from home, whenever you have a situation that you work from home and you have a children, or you're expecting a delivery, or you might have, you might be working and you are in an interview process. Let the recruiter know in advance.
Hmm.
Let the hiring manager know, even when you're starting the call, and said, listen, I might have a delivery person coming. We don't know,
Hmm.
because the choice, we don't know when they're gonna come, right? They usually have
Yeah,
this 9 to 4. So, but
exactly.
there is a chance that they're gonna come when you least expect them. Or same with the kids, they might come to you. And I had a many times situation.
Hmm.
I remember before, no, during the pandemic, I was no, sorry, before, I was interviewing for Google, and
Hmm.
um, the lady said to me it would be like an online test first, like an online assessment that I need to take, and it will take from 40 to 60 minutes. I have 60 minutes to complete it, but it will take around
Hmm.
40 minutes. And I said to
Hmm.
her, the only time I have a time during the day is when my kids are napping.
Hmm.
So, but if they wake up, I will need to postpone it. And she said that is fine. And it was true. They
Hmm.
went to sleep, they went for the nap, and I started the test. It took me like 24, 25 minutes. She called me immediately after I submitted, because she knew
Hmm.
I have like very little gap
Hmm.
of timing, and obviously it was successful, but she knew in advance that if I
Hmm.
postponed the test is because of this and that. Recruiters or hiring
Hmm.
managers, we often forget, but we are humans, right? So if you let us know in advance, treat us like a human. We understand, we seriously understand. But if you start doing your online test, and in
Hmm.
IT, it might be some online, I don't know, Java, whatever, coding test, and you stop in the middle. We don't know why. Like, we don't know. Maybe you just quit. Maybe you're not interested.
Hmm.
Maybe it was too difficult. We don't know what happened. But if you let us know in advance, if you can, of course, because you
Hmm.
can, anything can happen. Uh, we are fine with it. Just talk to us.
Hmm. I'm very glad you actually brought up this topic, because I'm not saying that's very often, but probably I will not book any client call during the Black Friday week because the delivery is coming every single day, and I don't like to actually interrupt my meetings, right? Or I cannot imagine now the carrier is or it's ringing on the bell and we have a podcast, right? So yeah,
It
I
can
would definitely
happen.
postpone
Like,
it. And yeah.
Postman, like anything really. You don't know. I actually had that. I have very often. You'll be surprised. I work from home for 5 years now. I have my cats. They know I'm at home, so they're gonna keep meowing by the door. And on some point, it will annoy me so much because they're coming in and out
Hmm.
constantly. And now, when it's the winter, lots of snow, doors are shut. So they will let me know they want to go out and they're going to keep meowing and they don't care I'm on a call.
Yeah. Oh, cats are another, animals. The dogs are doing the same from my own experience, right? So my dog is very often coming to me, and now it's not here. The doors are
Hmm.
closed, but usually it's coming. But going, Ursula, back to the HR world, like
Hmm.
you went through a couple of changes in the past because first you said that many things changed in the pandemic, right? But
Yes,
then
a
3
lot.
years ago, for example, AI appeared. How AI
Mhm.
actually disrupted the whole HR world, or changed the dynamics?
So there's actually a really good question with the AI. I think many companies are not acknowledging it yet.
Hmm.
I think I was actually surprised when I speak with lots of my friends that they own companies that they not implemented AI
Hmm.
tools
Hmm.
or they started and they quit.
Hmm.
And I was like, why would you quit? Why would you stop using? And I think it's a lack of knowledge as well
Hmm. Hmm.
about those tools and the benefits of it. So when first AI has appeared, I've got those. Usually, at the beginning, it was implemented in a large American
Hmm.
companies.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
what I did myself to train myself from the candidate point of view, I actually submit a couple of CVs
Hmm.
to go on the lower position. So I put on hold my LinkedIn so they don't know what I'm doing because I wanted to go through the process and I wanted to
Hmm.
see how it looks like from their end. And it was actually very interesting. So very often what you're gonna get is obviously the online assessments, that first step, right?
Hmm.
But we had maybe not saying something like this before, but
Hmm.
having some online assessment. We know that for a long time already,
Hmm.
the online assessment. Now it went to next level, and the next level is that very often our CV is being reviewed first by AI
Hmm.
and then by us as a recruiters. So let's say, imagine I've seen lately some job posting for front-end developer.
Hmm.
That was for New York. And guess how many applicants on a LinkedIn applied? Within 1 week.
Hmm.
I will help you. Within 1 week.
From what I checked lately on LinkedIn, the average probably would be around 100 people applying
Hmm.
for a job, I would say.
Okay.
Not sure.
For that one was a bit more, was 1,150
Okay, that's quite a big number. Yeah.
applicants within 1 week. So imagine recruiter being able to open
Hmm.
those CVs. No chance.
Hmm.
It's no chance to even look at that many
Hmm.
CVs. So what we use tools that will help us to filter.
Hmm.
So we have this ATS systems, so
Hmm.
application tracking systems that
Hmm.
are supporting us with AI, and they have pretty good filter systems. So we
Hmm.
filter those CVs by visa, right? If we need someone with a visa,
Hmm.
years of experience.
Hmm.
Not saying we can do education as well, but this
Hmm.
education is quite misleading.
Hmm.
Depends for what. Be honest with you, I had just once one job, one company. They asked me for a particular university,
Hmm.
and I don't know why that university, but they asked for that one university only, and it was a problem to find someone because we had a
Hmm.
much better candidate, stronger candidate. We didn't without this university, but they matched the
Hmm.
profile. And at the end, we actually finished collaborating with this company because they were so focused on this one
Hmm.
particular university, it was a bit pointless. Mm. So we are able to filter those CVs on a couple of bases, right? So like
Hmm.
location. And what is very important here, we also filter that if we are recommended. So
Hmm.
imagine,
Okay.
it's just 100 candidates, right? Out of 100 candidates, who has the highest chance of being hired, in your opinion? It's 100 candidates. Imagine I
Mm.
opened 100 CVs. I'm a like, super recruiter. I
Hmm.
opened 100 CVs, and who has the highest chance of being hired?
I would say, in a good way, that it will be the person who has great skills or the best skills
Mhm,
and really achieved tangible results in whatever. So if it's a developer, develop something, right? If it's a
mhm,
designer, design the logo. So
mhm.
the best one, I would say. Not sure.
No.
No, okay. So years of experience doesn't really matter probably because I don't think that
Well,
20 or
let's say we need someone between 3 to 5 years of experience.
okay, okay. So it will be the one with the 5 years experience in my opinion.
Okay. All right. So just okay, but let's say from this 100 CVs,
Hmm. Hmm.
20 of them has 5 years of experience.
Ah, okay.
Narrow it down. How?
Okay, narrow it down. So I like this podcast actually. I feel like an interview, to be honest. But yeah,
Welcome. Welcome.
okay.
It will
Let
be
me
it
think.
will be it will be good for your startup when you decide to hire someone.
Yeah, exactly. Let me think. Like how I hire people. I actually hire people basically on two criteria. One, when I do the
Mhm.
interview face to face, is the proactivity. This is what I really much value.
Okay.
So when somebody is prepared for the interview, that's one thing.
Mhm.
And because I don't hire people who are recommended, that's one. uh, so proactivity is the one thing I am like looking into as a signal. And second is I always do a small test. So those are two things I
Okay.
do. Whoever
What
goes,
else do you do?
if it's designing a logo, then I
Mhm.
very often do a small design element.
Mhm.
So design, for example, a small
Mhm.
graphic for me. If it's a
Mhm.
social media management, then I wanna see how, for example, my channel will look like. So I always do something tangible, and the best results usually gets the job.
Okay. Okay. So
Hmm.
you do let's say it's actually a good way of being proactive.
Hmm.
Uh, but if you have this 100 CVs, right?
Oh yeah, that's the difference.
Um,
Yeah. Hmm.
yes, you don't know. We can send a test. It depends what job is that. Let's say if it's a designer, we can send some designing tasks for hundreds
Hmm.
of them. But this
Hmm.
is too many. Let's do not
Yeah.
waste each other time, right? Because like I
Hmm.
need person to review it. Um, and people do not like taking tests as well if they
Hmm.
did not have human interaction first. So
Hmm.
let's say the test should be on in what stage is test in your case?
This is the last one, but that's now actually a good point because if once I did a test with ChatGPT, I had
Yeah.
25 job applicants for one position. I
Okay.
actually uploaded all the information I got from into ChatGPT, and I got three applicants at the
Yeah.
end, and I interviewed those three physically. So yeah, I
Yes.
helped myself out. I'm not sure if it was correct. It was just like a test. So uh, I hope I haven't offended anyone, but yeah, I needed to help, to figure out some ways and maybe see something I don't see as a in a first
Mhm.
sight. So yeah, that was something I did. I'm not sure what I would do with 100%. I would still probably analyze it like technically, right? So I would compare the CVs, as you say, with some ATS
Mhm.
tool
Yes.
or other tool. Yeah.
Yeah,
So what
we,
do you
we
do
look for
actually?
keywording. Yeah, we look for keywording. So let's say we
Keywording.
need someone.
Okay.
Yeah, let's say I don't know. We look for someone with Jira,
Uh huh.
and I don't know, and Java, Jira and Java,
Mm-hmm.
two of them. So we'll
Mm-hmm.
we'll put that in a keyword search. That's why
Mm-hmm.
keywording is super important on the CVs. People forget.
Mm-hmm.
I get very often CVs with saying I don't know, I'm a software developer, but what kind?
Mm-hmm.
No one says, okay, I'm a Python specialist, I'm a Java specialist, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
JavaScript specialist. You might be front and back, and you might be full stack. How the heck shall I know that?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I can assume that if that person works for I don't know Lloyd's Bank, probably that will be Java because it's
Hmm.
heavily back-ended. But otherwise, I don't know if someone works for e-commerce websites. It can be many different languages they use for programming,
Hmm.
right? Or frameworks, even between frameworks
Hmm.
it can be so many different differences, and we don't know. That's why putting those keywords, let's say someone is with Angular, mentioning Angular couple of times
Hmm.
won't hurt.
Hmm.
Obviously not putting like Angular, but like
Yeah.
in a context so it actually makes sense. So
Hmm.
usually I put that to use into there is actually 4 places on a CV where you can place those information. So let's stick with Angular, right?
Hmm.
It's easy.
Hmm.
And but as well, writing of Angular, because you can have Angular as a with .js or Angular JS or
Hmm.
only Angular, right? So it's a one framework can have been written on many different ways. Plus the version of it as well can be different. But anyway,
Hmm.
let's say it's just pure Angular, and first place where you can mention it, where do you think is that? I would say it's 4 places you can mention. So you tell me what
Mm,
are the 4 places you can add those on your CV.
so I need to imagine my CV now. Okay, the
Imagine
last
your
one.
CV. Imagine your
I
CV.
I would do the same. Well, okay, just a little bit context here. I thought that SEO on CVs or keywords on CVs are a myth, but now I see
Mhm.
that it's actually pretty important. So I would do the same what I do on the websites. I would put those keywords to the front, so to the up section, whatever description there is, and
Mhm.
then I would focus on descriptions of my jobs and so on. So I would stuff it a little bit upstairs. So
Mhm.
the first thing what would appear on my CV would be
Yeah.
keywords. Yes.
Yeah. So that was like the first section, which is the
Hmm.
about you section.
Yes,
Or
exactly.
like a short intro when you talk. It's a
Yeah.
couple of lines, and usually people either skip that part or they
Hmm.
just say like one line, which is not
Hmm.
enough. How I
Hmm.
suggest doing it is
Hmm.
having like a short, maybe two, 3 sentences about
Hmm.
myself and a few bullet points, 3, 4 bullet points, like a selling point. Because
Hmm.
the truth is, let's be honest, recruitments. I mean, getting a job is selling, is pure
Hmm.
sell. You're
Hmm.
selling your services to a company, and company is selling you a dream job, which doesn't exist, by the way. But company is selling you the job, and you selling your services to the company is a
Hmm.
sales process. So the first thing what you want to see are those bullet points
Hmm.
why you should be hired. The
Hmm.
first thing, and those things are very easy to adjust. So you can adjust it for each job description. You can adjust it, right?
Hmm.
Make different changes. So that would be first place I would mention our Angular. The second place would be
The second place would be the experience, right? When so instead
yes,
of saying, "Oh, I developed 20 websites for my clients," I would say, "Okay, I developed 20 WordPress websites using I don't know JavaScript or whatever language." So I would put it into description
yes.
or my job
Okay, third
experience.
place,
Yes.
very good. Third place.
A footer maybe. Let's say I'm somewhere at the bottom, like small tags.
You are small. You want that to be visible.
Okay. Okay. So
Well,
bigger
okay.
footer then
I'll say okay. You can do footer as
summary.
beneath. Once you have the first job description, right? So
Hmm.
imagine this is like the company, the location, dates. You have the small description,
Hmm.
and just under the description, output technical
Hmm.
stack, and
Okay.
output there.
Hmm. Hmm.
So then
Good
you can
tip.
actually
Hmm.
because sometimes when you explain the project itself, let's say you work for a company, I don't know, X company, IBM, right? You
Hmm.
work for IBM, but you work on 5 different projects. So you can list those projects, but every project might turn out has slightly different technical skills requirements.
Hmm.
So you
Hmm.
can actually list it below, like, okay, this project would be for that, and technical
Hmm.
stack for it is this, and that. So
Hmm.
this is another place where you can list it. And there's one more. There's one
There is
more
one
place.
more, which I have heard on LinkedIn, and it's this white font. So it's not visible to the eye, but it's visible to the AI. What do you think about that one?
It wasn't that what I was saying. Wasn't that what I was saying? What is visible for AI, you have to, that's just the first stage, but you have to
Mm,
remember this is stuff needs to be
yeah,
visible for
definitely.
real humans. And hiring managers, once you see we're gonna get through. So it might help you to go through the
Hmm.
AI, But later on is going
Yeah.
to normal eye of a regular recruiter.
Yeah, exactly. So it was more, like from I see on LinkedIn sometimes that those topics are discussed, right? So how you should not actually do your CV. But going back to your question, the fourth place. So we have the
Yes.
top experience, we have the experience in the middle, we have the technical stuff like under
Mhm.
the review. The footer was the third one, and there is one
Mhm.
more
Yeah.
sidebar, like on the side. Yeah,
Yeah.
is that
Sidebar.
okay? Okay.
Sidebar. We very often forget
Mm-hmm.
that we can actually use the
Mm-hmm.
side of the CV. So
Mm-hmm.
usually what I'll put there, I'll put a picture, which is very discussional because people
Mm-hmm.
are
Yeah.
like crazy about the picture topic. I'm the person with a picture.
Mm-hmm.
For me, picture is a must.
Mm-hmm.
I basically do not respond to LinkedIn profiles or
Mm-hmm.
CVs without a picture.
Okay.
And soon I will tell you why I do not respond.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the contact details, usually education. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
then you have skills, additional
Yeah.
skills, and
Mm-hmm.
very important hobbies. Right? We forget about hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
But on that site, I would put this Angular for the fourth time. And the trick is with the ATS systems, the more
Mm-hmm.
often you're gonna list it, the higher your CV gonna list for us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Okay.
not just
That's
that
an
you're gonna
interesting tip.
mention it, it's
Mm-hmm.
how often you're gonna mention it. I'm not saying that every single word should be Angular, Angular, Angular,
Yeah.
but with a sense, it should
Mm-hmm.
mention. And if you have a technologies which you think that you work with some program, you don't remember
Mm-hmm.
the name, make sure you're gonna find out the
Mm-hmm.
name of it,
Mm-hmm.
because it might be company that works with some niche client and that the
Mm-hmm.
niche client needs that particular technology, this particular program or tool that you think is not important. It might be super important for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I must say that I need to review my CV. I'm not applying on for jobs anymore because I'm like
You can
satisfied.
send it. I can give
But
you a good deal on it.
but definitely. But first of all, and second of all, everybody who is listening will be probably reviewing the CV if
Oh
they
my
have it
goodness,
done.
like we had, I must say, I'm super proud of the CVs I'm getting,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm sending them back because I actually had lately very good feedback for one person. He couldn't find a job for a year and a half
Mm-hmm.
in a small town. You know how small towns are super difficult to get a
Mm-hmm.
job. Um, and what was very problematic was as well age, because we are getting we are having problems because of
Mm-hmm.
age, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
very
Mm-hmm.
tricky. Sometimes you are too young for certain jobs, and then you are a bit too old for certain jobs. And they're
Mm-hmm.
thinking, okay, so
That's
you are
correct.
just 5 years to retirement. We're not sure we should hire you
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of age discrimination going on. It's not just for the when we are young we're being discriminated. When we're getting
Mm-hmm.
old, say mature and experienced, we also
Mm-hmm.
gonna get the discrimination.
Okay. Okay. And do you think, like, to be honest, I've read this book from Daniel Kahneman called Noise. And it's, Daniel Kahneman is a Nobel Prize winning author and economist, right?
Mhm,
And in this book, Noise, he's actually talking a lot about biases. So,
mhm.
just now, very random question or very randomly, uh, do you think your tools or HR tools are actually having some bias in, like they immediately discriminate, for example, not blaming anyone physically or, as we speak, but do you
Mhm.
think that they have some biases like you have 49 years old, or for example, I am 49 years old, let's say, not in real, but I am immediately dropped as a candidate? Do you think that it works like that?
It's not the purpose. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say the purpose, but you have mentioned Facebook earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With I actually have learned yesterday about Meta dropping
Mm-hmm.
the um, inclusion programs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have heard
Um,
something. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, you've heard. So I've heard about that yesterday from my HR colleague, and she has said that they actually, because of the financial purposes, because
Mm-hmm.
hiring diversity, they said is expensive, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is, I wouldn't agree with it, but it might happen. It might happen. Same like what we said earlier with visa, right? That if you are a visa
Mm-hmm.
holder, It's a we discriminate. I mean, no, not discriminate. Maybe it's a, we reject you
Mm-hmm.
because you are a visa holder for a financial reason. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's kind of financial discrimination. Always going to be some kind of discrimination on it. We
Okay. Mm-hmm.
cannot really go against it. And as
Mm-hmm.
many companies are now reviewing their budgets,
Mm-hmm.
they will make sure they're hiring. They want to hire. They will focus on it, on hiring
Mm-hmm.
the best talent, not necessarily the diverse.
Mm-hmm.
So it might
Okay.
happen. It might happen.
Okay. I understand. And just reminded me, I never answered your question, like who would be hired from those 100 people, because we got stuck on the CV and
Yes,
keywords,
we did.
right? So
Um, so what would we? Who will definitely go for interview will go
Mhm.
person from recommendation.
From recommendation.
You
Okay.
say you're not taking person from recommendation,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say 99% of companies will take someone from a recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and this is a very simple reason for it. It saves us a lot of time and
Mm-hmm.
money.
So, for example, now I just yesterday I opened my LinkedIn, right,
Mhm.
and one of the owner of huge business here in Poland, he actually recommended a person who was working for them, and now
Mhm.
is actually looking for a job. So, in your opinion, that person already has a new job? Let's
You
say it
can.
because it's recommended via some
You
director,
can,
for
you can.
example. Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
if someone's recommending, it's more
Mm-hmm.
visible. It's more
Mm-hmm.
visible.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we do have like when you have this ATS system, it looks like, let's
Mm-hmm.
say, imagine, let's compare to Excel, maybe not the best one, but let's say compared to Excel. So we have that column with a recommendation on it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually, let's say, is a green that is person
Mm-hmm.
being recommended. We will definitely look into the
Mm-hmm.
recommendation first
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
first. Even
Mm-hmm.
the person might turn out is not suitable, but we
Mm-hmm.
will definitely check the CV. And there is a very simple reason for it. We will be chased by the
Mm-hmm.
employee. We don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be chased by the employees. If the employee is
Mm-hmm.
going to chase us, it's more likely their manager is going to chase us too.
Mm-hmm.
And we will always look into the recommendations first, always.
Okay, that's interesting. And what do you need to do as a candidate to be recommended? First of all, you need to be probably good in what you do, right? But
Yes.
how do you then appear in that system and as a recommended? Like, what do you need to do?
You need to have someone who works there. So let's say you want
Mm-hmm.
to apply to, let's say Tesla, right? We talk about Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna work for Tesla. Actually, I don't know if Tesla has a good recommendation programs. Let me think of a company that has a good one. Let's say in American Express. I think we had a
Mm-hmm.
really good recommendation program there, and we would definitely check someone
Mm-hmm.
that was recommended. How to be recommended? Is few ways. Usually, employee, so the current employee
Mm-hmm.
of a company
Mm-hmm.
will. Oh, Google has really good recommendation programs as well.
Mm-hmm.
The employees, a few ways. They either create a separate link for you, so you apply there and you pop out as a recommendation, or
Mm-hmm.
you just when you filling up the form, you go on the company website, you're filling up the form on particular job
Mm-hmm.
posting. There is a section if you were recommended, and then if you click yes, there's to put name of the and surname of
Okay.
an
Mm-hmm.
employee, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how you pop out, and they as well pop in the
Mm-hmm.
system as well. And
Mm-hmm.
what employees are getting, they're usually getting bonus because it's much cheaper to get someone to recommend you than a higher agency, and
Mm-hmm.
agency will take much more money than actually giving us a bonus for the employee. So employees are
Mm-hmm.
happy, and the candidate is happy. Very often there are good candidates. There
Mm-hmm.
are very good candidates. They might have maybe not enough years of experience, but if let's say our current employee, which we are happy with, let's say
Mm-hmm.
that you recommend me someone and I'm really happy with your service, like that you are a good employee, then it's more likely I'm thinking, okay, Jan is a great employee, so probably his friend Steven is also going to be great employee, right? Because Jan wouldn't risk his reputation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct.
So
Mm-hmm.
you're putting your reputation at stake as well. So this is
Mm-hmm.
important.
Mm-hmm.
So you're recommending the person is more likely I will take someone.
Mm-hmm. Okay, makes sense. So I see a lot of value from you in this discussion because I believe that it's something I would never think about as a first, right? I would say a motivation or cover letter, a CV. Now I know how to do it, but
Oh
yeah,
my
before.
goodness, I don't even read cover letters. I'm really sorry
Okay.
for everyone who's ever sent a CV to me with a cover letter.
Oh,
I do not read it.
okay. And I know people who are actually like spending hours like fine tuning, the
Don't.
sentences like, is this nice cover letter? And I'm like, okay, maybe it should be shorter, but maybe it's okay. But you are not reading
Okay.
that. Okay, that's a shock.
I will tell you a different way of instead of cover letter. Maybe it's me and okay, majority of recruiters would not
Hmm.
read your cover letter.
Okay.
There gonna be recruiters that will read it, but you
Hmm.
have to remember that I'm getting, let's say, 100 CVs a day to review
Hmm.
it. Imagine after 20, 30, your eyes are just tired. We are just humans.
Hmm.
Even with the AI, even the AI will filter the CVs for me.
Hmm.
It's still numbers of CV I need to go through.
Hmm.
And people lie on CVs too. So it's like another thing that you need to filter for lies. Um, and and the cover letter is just additional thing to read. And on some point, your eyes will just not take it.
Okay.
You
So
are
can
just
you
tired.
just say to every employer who is listening to us, like, to not make it mandatory to submit the cover letter, because that's annoying thing I'm remembering from the days when I was applying for jobs. But without the cover
Okay.
letter, I was not able to apply. So stop it, please. Nobody is reading it. Nobody cares. Thank you very much. That's my message
Yeah,
to
that is
employers.
very true. That is very true. No, no recruit. Okay, I'm speaking here for myself and majority of the
Hmm.
recruiters. Probably there will be some recruiter that will read it,
Hmm.
but we do not read cover letters. It's simply because we do not have
Hmm.
time for it.
Yeah,
And
it's not
every
possible. Hmm.
candidate I am taking on board as my client, and I'm supporting them in a recruiting process, always saying the same
Hmm.
thing: cover letter, no. There are other ways. But
Hmm.
it's not just if you want to write something, fantastic, but not to cover letter. Write it somewhere else. And what do you think can be a good place where you can put that intention to be visible?
A CV then. But
No, you already have CV. Where else?
looking, okay,
You
a
you
LinkedIn
want, you want to
profile.
make you want to make
In the,
yourself stand
Mhm,
out and visible.
mhm.
How would you do that?
I would now use LinkedIn as a tool, or
Okay,
any
how?
social media. In my
How would you use?
description. Okay,
Mm.
because I need, okay.
So let's say you're applying to Tesla, right?
Tricky
And
question.
you seen the job posting.
I would send
What
it
you
to
gonna
Elon Musk on X.
it might work. It might work. You never know. Apparently he never sleeps, so he might just read it. He might just read
Exactly.
it.
Oh no,
Okay, but
but
let's be more realistic here. So
mhm,
imagine you're applying for a job. We do have actually some projects of Tesla going on in Krakow. So
mhm.
let's say the job is based in Krakow. What do you do?
I would probably not send a physical letter right into the office, so not sure. But I'm in a talk with the. No, I'm applying via system, right? Because I believe Tesla has a system for recruitment. So not sure though. Not sure. Like,
Okay.
CV is already one cover letter. Nobody cares,
Yeah.
uh, and there is no space. Maybe in a comment section, like something like that. Are there
Hmm.
some spaces like tell us something about yourself? Maybe that's the space I would use.
Okay. Usually
Not
there
sure.
isn't section like that, but yeah, there's
Oh,
usually like tell us about your experience. Okay, we can create a section for you, right? Like we can have a special one for you.
you see, this
Now,
is how often I apply to the jobs. I don't know how those looks actually.
listen, it's not just you. Usually we forget there are other
Hmm.
options. That's why it's so many. I was even like spamming this LinkedIn with the
Hmm.
CVs, right? It's like so many of the CVs,
Hmm.
and we don't even read the job description. We just press send. Very often,
Hmm.
when I was recruiting lately someone, I messaged them on the we set up an interview, and
Hmm.
I do very important here. I do camera interviews, camera on
Hmm.
interview. So what we were mentioning earlier as well about the outfit. I mean, before we started, Usually, recruiter or hiring manager will ask you to make sure you put the camera on during the call.
Mm-hmm.
Super important. Super important. Because very often we think, oh, it's just a voice call.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessary. And you might be really surprised. You better be prepared for it.
Okay,
But yeah,
so it's
let's go back to that later.
mm-hmm.
Elon Musk, right? Another way of standing out.
So social media, no. There is no comment section, no. CV,
I
no. Cover
didn't say
letter, no.
social media, no. I just said the way
Okay.
how you're going to use it.
The way. So it's not in a
Mhm.
profile. I don't know. Then newsletter, probably no. What else I use? I'm just taking, for example, looking at LinkedIn, right? How it's built. There is this featured section. I'm not sure. Or maybe. No, I know. I would actually send it to recruiter directly.
Congratulations.
Oh, is that
Congratulations.
correct?
That is the correct answer.
Yes, I got the point. Nice.
Okay,
We
but
will
how to
see.
find, let's say
Oh,
Tesla
that's the
has like
question.
hundreds of recruiters. How
Hmm.
would you find correct one?
That's a good question. No, don't know. I need to
Mhm.
pass this answer. Or maybe we can
Okay.
spend some time here to brainstorm. But I don't think that. Oh, no, there is a hiring. If you apply, okay, if you apply via LinkedIn, this fast LinkedIn, whatever
Yeah.
application, right? There is sometimes this hiring, the manager of, or no, not
Yeah.
sure.
Sometimes. Yeah, it can
Sometimes
happen.
it is. Yes, it can happen.
Yeah.
So if it's there, it can happen that you
Easy.
contact them
And it's
directly.
easy. Hmm.
The, then what I need to pay 250 zloty per month for premium package or no?
No, no. Obviously, if there is a hiring person on the
Hmm.
post, it
Hmm.
sometimes is, not always.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's
Hmm.
visible. The first thing you do send them an invitation.
Hmm.
You send them invitation, so then you don't need to use your credits, right?
Hmm.
Um, Unless you want it. Obviously, if they are actively hiring, they're gonna accept it quite immediately.
Hmm.
Your response, and then what you're gonna write. What can you write?
Mm,
I
that's
know it's
a.
not your interview here, but but
I
uh,
will write the description. Hey, this is my motivation behind why I'm applying for this job. Let's say.
okay,
Right? So
okay.
instead of writing cover letter, I would just explain why I wanna,
Mhm,
be there, why I'm the best candidate,
mhm,
for example, and a good fit
mhm,
for the company. Not sure if
mhm,
if it's correct or
mhm.
not.
Okay. It's kind of generic message what you're saying. I will try
Hmm.
something different.
Okay.
I obviously teach on my one-on-ones. I teach what exactly to write. So we do write custom messages for particular, but I'll give you here one hint
Hmm.
with that. I would say something, oh, I've seen this job posting. Are you still hiring? I'm interested in applying. Not sure
Hmm.
you're still accepting new CVs.
Hmm.
What that gives you, that information.
Mm, kind of actually like medium warm answer. Like not, I don't really know why you're actually contacting me. Besides,
Yeah.
you want to ask if it's open.
Yeah, it's a very soft
Hmm.
entrance to the
Hmm.
conversation. Very soft. So
Hmm.
it's not like hard selling, like take me, take me, take
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
Is you want to create meaningful conversation.
Hmm.
You're forgetting that this person behind that is usually human,
Hmm.
working from home, so it's more
Hmm.
than open to the human conversation as well. We
Hmm.
forget
Hmm.
about that we do want to talk with someone, and we
Hmm.
want that bit of attention. So give that person attention. Give them from yourself first something.
Hmm.
Because me
Hmm.
as a recruiter, I'm getting plenty of candidates sending to me. It's like, oh, miss, I see you are a recruiter. Here is my CV. Bang,
Hmm.
done. And then I'm getting three times the same message. So it's like a copy
Hmm.
paste message. I hate those ones. I'm not even responding to them
Hmm.
because I'm not even caring if it's like ChatGPT created or Copilot
Hmm.
created. I don't care.
Hmm.
If it's copy and paste without any personal attachment, like a personal, like meaningful message, I'm ignoring. Not even
Hmm.
responding to that
Hmm.
because it's plenty of them. So I will start to create meaningful conversation, even ask how are you. If it's Monday, I would ask how's your weekend. If it's Friday, I would ask Any plans? Oh, weekend is approaching. Fantastic. Any plans for the weekend? By the way, I've seen you have a job posting open. Are you still hiring?
Mm-hmm.
Very soft, very soft. I love the times around festive periods like Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
Easter, bank holidays, because I would ask always something around. I was like, oh, are you like ready for the break, whatever. It's fantastic way of creating meaningful conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, but you need to care, right? Because so
Yeah.
it's like just make sure you care about those people, and or check their LinkedIn, find something that you have in common, that they have in interest. I don't know, football, ask
Mm-hmm.
about football, ask about the university they went to, ask about the location, or I don't know, I've been to, you work in for this company in London, I work in London as well. You
Mm-hmm.
have there something. That's why also, as well, I said that on the CVs you should put the interest, your hobbies,
Mm-hmm.
right? We very often forget, but I often, you'll be surprised, but I often write to people that I want to, let's say if I have 20 amazing candidates,
Mm-hmm.
20, all of them are outstanding good. The person I'm going to reach to is the person I can resonate with.
Mm-hmm.
I can have something in common. We're always looking for someone that we have something in common with.
Mm-hmm.
So if, for example, I like Italian cuisine and someone will put, I like cooking Italian cuisine, they're mine. They are mine. The first, when I was changing my job from, I used to work in a gym as a personal trainer. And when I was getting my first job in recruitment, you know why I got the job? Because I worked in a gym. I
Mm-hmm.
worked in a gym, and my boss was a gym freak. The second boss was a gym freak. We were all
Mm-hmm.
gym focused,
Mm-hmm.
and we were both doing. We all were all doing bike marathons,
Mm-hmm.
and we were so sport focused. That was something that connected us, and this is super super important.
Mm-hmm.
So we always gonna resonate with someone that we have something in common, and that is normal
Mm-hmm.
because our brain prefers something that we know.
Mm-hmm. That's very
So that
interesting
really,
because I often get asked like, should I include my hobbies on CV? And like
yeah.
going online and searching for the answer is easy, right? But what what is really important here, I would say, that we live in this, as a ChatGPT would say, fast-paced world, right?
Mhm.
And we live in this world which is changing a lot. But we should still remember that recruiters are actually humans.
We are
It's not
humans,
only, yeah,
not just
and those
us. Hiring
small
hiring
details.
managers as well.
Yeah, correct. Hmm.
Hiring managers as well, like even the conversation about children. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised with that when I actually was interviewing moms. But you
Hmm.
can hear this. I remember one conversation that was for very niche job. Oh my goodness, that was such a difficult job to fill. And the lady said she was coming back from maternity leave, and she said, "I'm
Hmm.
really sorry. I'm gonna have my toddler crying in the background." I said to her, I don't care because I also have children. I understand.
Hmm.
If you will
Hmm.
need to finish earlier, let me know. We're gonna,
Hmm.
split the interview in 2 parts, 3 parts. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter. I'm
Hmm.
flexible. And
Hmm.
because of that flexibility, my approach, me as a human to human, she was hired and she's doing
Hmm.
really good.
Hmm.
So we're
Okay.
forgetting about it. We're
Yeah,
forgetting about
exactly, and I think it's a very important actually point that we brought out here. So Urszula, you mentioned we spoken about CV again. We spoke about camera on and
it. Mhm.
outfit a little bit. Is that also important, like how I am dressed on the interview?
Yeah, t-shirt, right?
T-shirt, yeah, exactly. For every position, I wear T-shirt, no shirt.
And here, from my, what I would say, I would suggest shirt is better.
Shirt is better. Okay.
Shirt is better. I'm really sorry, but shirt is better. And there is a very simple reason for it. It just
Hmm.
looks much more professional.
Okay. No matter the position.
I know in IT environment, I know you don't
Hmm.
care because obviously you're not looking for a job. You are the boss. You are the hiring manager. But
Correct.
if you have a person that pays attention, and
Hmm.
what you said earlier as well, that someone came to the interview prepared, done research about the company. It's the
Yeah.
same about
Hmm.
outfit, that
Hmm.
I cared. I put my hair together.
Hmm.
You comb your hair. You can tell if someone just ran like, no, the hair mess. unless you're bored,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But hair is a mess, outfit is a mess, and it's just not good. We had earlier the conversation about outfit a bit when I have
Mm-hmm.
mentioned the situation about one position. It was a project manager, client facing for a huge IT company.
Mm-hmm.
His CV looked amazing. It was a really, really experienced person, perfect, knows the technology we're working with, knows the people, know the clients. Like, can you have a better person than that? And then I had a call with him over the phone first, went brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Well spoken, everything was great. And the next one was a video call, next stage interview. And after that would be maybe one more and done. And
Mm-hmm.
basically the person is hired, but there was no red flags at all until the camera was on. What happened was for the interview, he looked fine as a person, but his
Mm-hmm.
background was terrible. I know we are in a remote setups, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we might not have a corner where we can have a
Mm-hmm.
clear background, but blur it, please. If you don't have
Mm-hmm.
a clear space, blur it, or even find a like small white wall, anything that it will
Mm-hmm.
give you like a pale background. What that person had, he had the clothes hanging, like everyday clothes hanging on the hangers. It was like a staircase beneath him, and when you
Okay.
have like a Harry Potter
Yeah.
setup, and there were just clothes hanging, and it would take him 5 seconds to grab all those clothes,
Mm-hmm.
take them off the hooks, put them even on a chair on the floor. I don't care, but the background would be clear. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying to have like, I don't know, beautiful setup, paints, books, whatever, but have it clear so you're not getting distracted. I don't want to get distracted from it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is very
Mm-hmm.
important. And he didn't pass because of that, because I cannot have
Mm-hmm.
client facing person when the first thing what I see as a client, imagine me as a client, the first thing I see is your trousers from the day before hanging there,
Oh,
not sexy.
not sexy at all. To be
No, you
honest, yeah.
don't want that. And that's a video call. I also
Mm-hmm.
have very often people having clothes dryers, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
clothes on a dryer.
Mm-hmm.
I do understand that we all need to wash our clothes, fantastic, but
Mm-hmm.
blur it as much as you can. Turn the camera for like away for a second. We all have a one place in a corner of the house which you can tie up. It takes few minutes to tie up the corner. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care you interviewing in a kitchen or I don't know living room. Once I had a person interviewing in attic, and he said to me, "I'm really sorry, I'm in an attic." I was like, "I don't really care." And he said, "It's a mess here." I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "It's okay." Just I said, "You did let me know. Okay, put that camera on, please." And he did. And actually, it was attic, but everything was so super organized, better than in my house. It was so super organized with those little, transparent boxes. It looked amazing. I would hire him on a spot because of
Mm-hmm.
that. How he was
Mm-hmm.
organized there
Mm-hmm.
on the attic. It
Mm-hmm.
was super well organized
Mm-hmm.
and beautiful order. Love it. Jordan Peterson would approve for sure.
Jordan Peters. Okay. And Urszula, what else do you think, or not you think, it's important, right? Because we covered many things, and I'm just looking at my notes here. We have the keywords, which is very important. Like
Yes.
really, I forgot about it, and I really recommend to anyone just if you don't know how to do keywords, then upload your CV into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, and ask to review and fill in the
Yeah.
keywords you are jobs applying for, and dress up and contact the recruiter if you can. And also, I have first impression is a key. That's a message from you. Would you say that is important?
First impression is the key, 100%. What I've mentioned as well. So let's start with the first impression on a CV, then first impression
Mm-hmm.
on a voice call, and first impression on the video call, and first
Mm-hmm.
impression in person. So these
Okay.
all first impressions. I think they're all super important because you
Mm-hmm.
might meet different people on the way. So on a CV, make sure your CV is tidy, it's clear. and has a picture on. And here, many people will disagree with me, but hear me out. With a CV, with a picture on, we connect, our brain connects to the faces. The CVs I'm gonna remember are CVs with a picture on. It's how our brain works. It's like nothing that I want to discriminate someone. Um, but we are automatically attracted to faces. It's our natural brain response. You are more likely to be visible because of the picture on. Just make sure his picture is nice. We have nowadays, no, so let's say if you are in your, let's say 40s and you put a picture from a high school, might not be relevant. But currently our phones are so good. You can ask someone to take a good picture, even on a plain wall, or like curtain somewhere nice and tidy. That you don't put too much filters on. But nowadays, even with normal phone that we all have it, or sometimes we have few of them, you can take really good picture. Obviously, if you have a chance to go to a professional photographer, go ahead. I've seen some amazing pictures and they are lovely. So that's first on a CV. Second, phone interview. We can hear intonation of your voice. So it's not just what you're saying, but how you're saying. The intonation of the voice. I can hear it if you are annoyed, if you cannot be bothered, if you're tired, you are stressed. I can hear it. So if you cannot be bothered to speak with a recruiter, no, don't have that call that day. You might be super stressed. Just say, I'm really sorry. I'm in the end of the project. I'm super tired, busy, stressed, whatever. Can we reschedule it, please? We will reschedule. But I had many times situation that I could hear on the phone that person was like, yeah, you should see that on my CV. I'm doing this and that. Don't ask me about my experience.
Okay.
No go. No, we can hear you. So all this communication, in verbal communication, is super important. The verbal is just like a 5%, 5 to 10%, depends of the studies. But non-verbal, super important. Video, we did cover a bit. So obviously, how you're gonna dress up, it's important. I think we all seen those videos when people are with a shirt here and when they're standing there in the boxers and in the pajamas or lingerie, and it can happen. Myself guilty very often. I work from home. Here I just put some elegant top and then I have my pajama on. I'm honest, right? But for today, I knew I'm gonna be. We're gonna talk, so I'm fully done. And another thing, what it does, it boosts your confidence level.
Oh yeah.
And I actually heard some interview. I think Beyonce. She was saying that if she got a crap day, all she's doing is putting makeup on, earrings, favorite perfumes, favorite clothes. It helps. It helps 100%. I remember once I was interviewing. I think that was for Amex. I was interviewing in a kitchen, but I had my dress on. I had my favorite perfumes, favorite jewelry, and I even had the heels on. Even no one would see that, but it gave me such a confidence. Plus, another thing is what I had. It was my notebook. And I had questions written to a recruiter and to a hiring manager, which is also super important to have that in written. I know it's great to have it as well. You can have it as a Word document, but I'm a traditional. I prefer that to have it in written. And every time we talk, even here I put actually clothes and camera on, so we won't forget that topic. Obviously, have drawings of my children too, but. It's very important to how you present yourself on a camera, because even you are not client facing, you don't know, you might have a director that will pass by. They pay attention. Trust me, they pay attention how you look like. Super important. Another thing is when you have an interview in person, always make sure it's much more difficult. I mean, it's much more problematic when you are underdressed than overdressed. It's
Hmm.
less likely you're going to be overdressed, even if it's like going to the IT. Obviously, if you're going to, on a building site, be dressed, accordingly
Hmm.
to it.
Yeah.
But if you are going to an office, make sure you look like you have the official dress code on.
Hmm.
Even it's, I don't know, dress down Friday, and this office on the Fridays they do t-shirts, jeans, doesn't matter. You can have a dress down Friday when you already work there, but if
Hmm.
you're going for an interview, you have to gear up.
Okay, you have to gear up. That's an important thing.
Yes.
Definitely agree. And I think I need to go shopping.
You do. It's as well very
Uh,
important as the boss. So like when I was hired to do some workshops, I was standing next to the owner of the company that I was hired, and that person was in jeans and some sweaters. Great, nice, it's okay. But that person was surprised why people coming with the questions to me, not to that person. And that's a very simple reason. The way
mhm,
how you dressed up, they don't think that you are a decision maker here.
mhm. Okay,
It's
that's very
important.
interesting. Hmm.
I know you're
Okay.
gonna tell me that Steve Jobs was wearing a black tops, black
Okay,
t-shirt.
but he was, I think, the only one wearing those, right? And yes, we all know probably Steve Jobs was a unique personality once in our lifetime, and it will be not be replicated. I don't think anyone will, be in his shoes or be able to step up those shoes. And
I'm
yeah.
not I'm not saying, don't make me wrong. I'm not saying that you should change all your wardrobe right now, chop it out and but have a one set that will be dedicated for like going out, I don't know, dinners,
Hmm.
nice shirt, tie, it actually looks good. Some perfume
Hmm.
on. Even when you are on the camera, even you put a bit of perfume, your favorite perfume that
Hmm.
boosts your confidence level.
Hmm.
It works. It's
Hmm.
visible. I'm not
Hmm.
saying to be arrogant or cocky on an interview, nothing
Hmm.
like that. But
Hmm.
if you are confident, it's visible.
Hmm. Hmm. That's a very good
No
tip.
shopping.
You see, I need to put my perfumes on now. No, just being silly here. But in general, I very much like all the tips, and I believe that everybody who's listening and will be searching or is searching for a job will take a lot of information and inspiration from you, Shula. Is there anything else like your sherry and a cake, something add-on you would recommend to everybody who is
I
searching,
think they were
or
all
actually
cherry on a cake.
they are all, yeah. I have a feeling that they are because they are super important, and I covered them all. Like really, one
Mm,
question which
yeah.
is popping sometimes in our
Uh-huh.
or my environment is: should the CV have one page or two?
Oh
I know it's
wow. One pager myth. One
yeah,
pager myth.
one page are myth. Okay,
It is a myth. It is a myth. Very simple. Okay, so yes and no.
yes and no.
Yes
Mhm.
and no. So depends. The very depends of the job. I had once person with CV, and the CV was 24 pages.
Okay,
This is
okay,
too long.
too long.
This is too long. 24 pages clearly too long. But even my CV is not one page.
Hmm.
Mm, with certain experience. So let's say you are entering job market, right? You are, I don't know, 20, 20 in your 20s in
Hmm.
general, or I don't know, 18, 19, but quite early. What are you gonna put on that CV to make it like longer? Then
Hmm.
everything will fit on one page.
Hmm.
Even will
That's
be
correct.
space there, right? So like all the experience there matters. If all the school projects or you've done all matters, put it, and that will be
Hmm.
probably one page.
Hmm.
Or if you are in one company for a long time, that also gonna be one page, 1, 2, 3 companies. But if you have more experience or you wanna focus on the projects that you think they will be important for that particular job, I would
Hmm.
expand that. I would write a bit more. I think 2-3 pages. I would say 2 pages are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
3 pages can be a bit tiring. And then here is a little question for you. How
Mm-hmm.
long?
Go on.
How long do you think recruiter will spend on your CV? How much time recruiter will spend on your CV?
30 seconds, no matter the length. I would scan the most important thing. I would look for the keywords on my CV or any other, and I would say 30 seconds.
Okay, that's a good timing. That's a good timing, 30 seconds. How long do you think it takes me?
I hope 30 seconds, not less. Or is it less or more?
When I
Not
when
sure.
I was actually starting, I remember my manager was schooling me that it take me too long
Mm-hmm.
to read the CV, and I was like, but I want to read everything. He said, no, 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 you just look for the clues.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for the points there, you look for the clues. You're gonna learn that. Right now, if I'm not gonna find something on the first page,
Mm-hmm.
let's say first few lines, I'm not reading further. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say 2 seconds
Mm-hmm.
for me, and I'm not reading further. Your
Mm-hmm.
CV will either interest me or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
2 seconds for me, and that's why make sure this first impression of the CV so important, so important. One thing. So that was about your CV. One thing I wrote here. Well, what I wanted to mention, what I see people struggling a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and since pandemic even more, is
Mm-hmm.
stress.
Mm-hmm.
Stress during the interview. I think that's the biggest issue. And you'll be surprised, it's not just stress for the candidate, it's stress for the manager as well. If the
Mm-hmm.
manager is not used to hiring people, it's a stress for them too. So here are the, obviously depends how much time you have before interview, but I highly go recommend do your favorite sport
Mm-hmm.
before
Mm-hmm.
interview. It can be day before, it can be a few hours before. So if you're oh, another thing here I need to write down.
Yeah.
That would be a long one. So with the stress, I've seen seriously the best candidates blowing up interview because they were overstressed. They could not
Mm-hmm.
manage the stress, and their voice were shaking. They were forgetting words. They were just not there. They could not
Mm-hmm.
focus. There is a few ways. First of all, the best way, actually one of the only ways to reduce stress is sport.
Mm-hmm.
So we burn that stress out. So we burn that adrenaline. Adrenaline can be good, but when it's too long, too much,
Mm-hmm.
it's not healthy for us. So sport, it can be, for me, that will be cycling, that will be Zumba, that will be dancing in
Mm-hmm.
general. For many people, that can be yoga, that can be, I don't know, boxing, football.
Mm-hmm.
You choose
Yeah.
whatever is
Yeah.
your, can be cleaning for some people, loud music. For me, can be loud music as well, or my neighbors knows what I'm listening. But for it helps me so much to reduce my
Mm-hmm.
stress levels before the calls. It can be the whole process of preparing myself, like getting clothes ready, thinking what I'm going to say, do
Mm-hmm.
some reading about it. So there will
Mm-hmm.
be people that need to be like outstandingly prepared for it. So the more you prepare, the better, because if you're going to
Mm-hmm.
read about the company, you'll be surprised how many people do not prepare for the interview at all. They don't even know. I start the interview, I was like, I'm sorry, what company are you from? Like, what company, like, is that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't know. He said, "Oh, I've been having so many interviews." I was like, "You are here to impress me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?" So if you don't know, like, who are you talking with, it's bad. Always check your interviewer on the LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
as well. We are on a LinkedIn. Check us on the
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the stress level, that is super important. If that helps you, maybe have some relaxing tea. That helps as well. The relaxing tea. Maybe if it's like placebo, it doesn't matter. It's still gonna
Okay.
help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
And very important, if you can
Mm-hmm.
practice interviews with someone. And
Mm-hmm.
if you, it can be with your friend, but ideally with someone you don't know, So like, hear me, find me on LinkedIn, we can practice. And it can be with some career coaches, can be with
Hmm.
some recruiters. Sometimes you are able, if you have among your friends some recruiter, ask them for some advice. You can generate good interview questions on a chat GPT.
Hmm.
That will be suitable.
Hmm.
Obviously, if you know the prompts, how to put it correctly,
Yeah, definitely. Hmm.
because sometimes you might just get the wrong questions. But practice, and
Hmm.
apply for many jobs. Because if you think that you are the only person we are interviewing, you are wrong. Even we will tell you that you are probably the best candidate we have. It might be true, but it doesn't mean we are not looking for other candidates in
Hmm.
the same time. So it's like, I'm comparing it always to a dating, that when you start dating, you should date with multiple people at the very beginning, so you have different options. It's the same here. You should have not one company, but multiple
Hmm.
companies. It's so much easier to negotiate later the salaries. It's
Hmm.
yes, and very good advice here. Put it everything in Excel, so to make
Hmm.
sure you have your tracking. Obviously, maybe not every CV you send, however, that would be ideal.
Hmm.
And later on, responses, if you wrote to the recruiter, if they got back to you, put it in Excel with the columns,
Okay, that's a good tip. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, yes, I actually seen that on one of very good specialists in one of the banks, and he was a contractor, and he had his ways of like, wow, that's brilliant, I'm stealing the idea.
Hmm.
And actually it works beautifully. And the last thing I
Hmm.
wanted to say for today is, do not schedule interviews for Friday afternoons.
Okay.
And I have not seen for many years a successful interview happening on Friday afternoon. We are overtired
Hmm.
from the whole week.
Hmm.
Managers are overtired. Very often we have plans and we want to leave work as soon as possible, right?
Hmm.
Managers as well. You are, you might be stressed as well. You know that it's Friday, will be lots of traffic, or
Hmm.
you need to go here, you need to go there, you need to do shopping. Friday afternoon is not the best, and not maybe Monday morning. But
Hmm.
apart from that, go ahead.
And that's from the candidate point of view. But now imagine that sometimes I had, for example, in the past interviews on Friday afternoon because the recruiter scheduled it for Friday afternoon. So why they are shooting themselves in the leg, right? If they know that
Uh,
they are tired.
I know, but I think it's just they want to fill up the calendar maximum. But
Okay.
from my experience, the I had very often situation when then one of the directors just said to
Hmm.
me, "Please reschedule it," and he said that like a last minute
Hmm.
before the call.
Hmm.
We are, we all get tired by end of the week, and I think scheduling interview, I don't think we are in the best like a mental
Hmm.
shape as well to
Yeah.
have it by end of
Hmm.
the week. We are just tired
Hmm.
of everything. The best ways, I would say, is will be Monday afternoon. Tuesday is
Hmm.
fine. Wednesday apparently saying that's the worst day of the week because we are tired already from after the weekend, but the next weekend is like not coming any soon. Thursday are really good. The only thing I would really focus is like, don't schedule it for Friday afternoon.
Okay. Okay. That's a pretty
It's like high chance of being
important tip.
cancelled
Hmm.
as well.
Hmm.
So like, you don't want your
Okay.
interview to be cancelled.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And probably, in the back of the head, the candidate also sometimes can have like, oh, it's Friday, I'm going for a drink or whatever, party or dinner, right? And they are rushing it more
Yeah.
than they would do on Thursday.
Yeah. So it's like
Urszula.
in back of
Hmm.
your head, you
Hmm.
might not know that, but in back of your head,
Yes.
you are already there. Same like,
Hmm.
when you're flying somewhere, I'm always saying that my one leg is already in a plane. If you're like before holidays and you need to put that, but mentally you're already on holidays
Hmm.
or you're already
Hmm.
home packing your
Hmm.
suitcase. Same thing, you might be physically present on the
Hmm.
interview, but mentally gone.
Yeah, and the recruiter can feel it, right? It's a human person, as you said many times on the
Yes.
podcast. Urshula, I have one last question which came to my mind. It's a very
Yeah.
unpopular opinion, actually, currently on LinkedIn. I have heard and saw a post on LinkedIn
Yeah.
from a recruiter that said, I am not hiring people who are using AI for their CVs because I can feel it, I can see it. What do you think about this one? And that would be probably my last question for
Um,
today.
okay, depends. Depends
Mm-hmm.
how the person has used the AI. I even had that conversation yesterday morning with one of my girls, and she said that we were writing together, writing the feedback on the employment, this employee feedback for end of the year, end of the
Mm-hmm.
quarter,
Yeah.
and the general AI feed. Obviously, I put everything, all the informations what we need into ChatGPT,
Mm-hmm.
and the response was very generic,
Mm-hmm.
and the very generic response is not good, but it's not good in any case, not good in
Mm-hmm.
emails.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had that with one of the head of engineering from, I think that was Brown Brothers, and he said to me, I can see when someone is responding in email with ChatGPT. He said, I'm not even getting back to those emails, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just responding
Mm-hmm.
okay or no okay. He
Mm-hmm.
can't even be bothered.
Mm-hmm.
Me same,
Mm-hmm.
I've got the same thing. But what ChatGPT can do for you, or like different AI tools, because it's not just chat, what they can
Mm-hmm.
do, they can give you the structure. They can give
Mm-hmm.
you very good structure. They can give you very good frame that you can work with. But I do
Mm-hmm.
suggest to change it a bit,
Mm-hmm.
customize it, right? So it gives you a framework, but you need to customize it for yourself. So it's
Mm-hmm.
more you. And as well, the wording, so the vocabulary, that the general vocabulary of ChatGPT or Copilot, it will be quite advanced. So
Mm-hmm.
not everyday
Yeah.
English, right? What they use. So what you can do, you can ask ChatGPT to use simple wording, simpler English, or common English, or everyday English, or
Mm-hmm.
use them, make it, because otherwise it will make it sound very official.
Yeah.
And I would still change some words. And I, it's not just CV. I've seen person doing presentation, um, during some workshop, doing presentation with using vocabulary that person. Obviously, that person used ChatGPT, but that person which was running the presentation did not understand meaning of all the words. It was
Mm-hmm.
so advanced that we all look at the presentation. I was like, okay, that is some, Oxford or like Cambridge
Yeah.
wording here. Very interesting, but you need to adjust it to the majority of people that will be your audience, right? So recruiter will know that you use ChatGPT if it's too generic. So
Mm-hmm.
plus ChatGPT do not know all your experience. Use it as a framework.
Mm-hmm.
And then customize it for yourself. And what another thing what ChatGPT is doing, or other AI, is making it too long. So shorten
Mm-hmm.
it. Cut
Mm-hmm.
out the stuff that is unnecessary. I'm not saying that you should create a CV that has 5 pages. Obviously, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's needed. 5 pages depends of the.
Mm-hmm.
I had the people with 8 pages, and we could not cut down any shorter because of the
Mm-hmm.
specification of their job. You could not cut it because of the research background they've been doing and stuff like publications, and you cannot shorten that. But in many cases, yeah, you can make it shorter. So
Mm-hmm.
use AI,
Mm-hmm.
but wisely.
Wisely. Yeah, that's, I think it's very important, because on the other side of your recruitment process is a human being, right? Not an AI all the time. For sure. It was a great discussion. My palms were sweating the one of the moments when you asked me questions, but I'm glad we did
We
it,
just
and I'm
said.
glad you asked, actually. So thank you very much for your time and being on my podcast. I really enjoyed our discussion.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. For further, if you will decide you want to have your LinkedIn reviewed and your CV reviewed, you know where to find me.
Exactly. To everybody who is listening, I will include all the details and contact information of Urszula into the description, so we will be able to find her online on LinkedIn, probably, right? That's the platform you said you are using.
Yes, that's true. Correct.
Okay, good. So Urszula, one more time, thank you very much for being here with me
Thank you so
today.
much.
Thank you. Bye bye.